Okay, everybody. Well, wow, look at that. 3 people already on the street. You guys were waiting. Welcome back. C3 Live from Identiverse. It's Cocktails, Code, and Conversation here in Denver, Colorado. Look, I'm going to apologize right now. This is not going to be the professional setup that you're used to, because I literally made this up the day that they emailed me and said, here's the podcast information. I was like, great, I'm going to live stream it. They were like, how are you going to do that? I was like, oh, no, I'm going to figure it out. So this is how this is going to work. You guys won't get, the quality sound will be that great. And then I just want to come and say hi. It's been a while. Season 3 is coming later this fall. Some big announcements coming, but that's not about what's going on today. And Heather says now she's thirsty. Well, look, well, just go pour a drink, Heather. You're right there. That's the whole setup. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're live here at Identiverse. I want to say hi to all the C3 squad. Now I'm just gonna give you guys my guests, and this is gonna be a very just kind of open flowing kind of episode, right? As everybody knows, I don't plan anything. I just kind of wing it and go with it. So starting off the pod, we have two veterans to the C3 podcast. Actually, we got Richard Bird and we got Aubrey Turner. So welcome back, gentlemen. Thanks for coming out and chilling, hanging out. And so, good to be here. For those that couldn't make it to Identiverse, you got to go to Twitter. Scroll to Twitter about 9:30 to 9:33 a.m. because the way that this day kicked off was like none other, right? And it just, as soon as he came on stage, I was like, this makes perfect sense because this is how I met this man. And so it makes sense. This is how he kicks off Identiverse. Richard Bird comes out for his keynote in a white dinner jacket and a Manhattan art just ready, and to like the perfect entrance song, right? And it was just like the perfect way to like this is how we get back to in-person conference. Like it has to be that way. So Richard, you have raised the bar now for entrances.
I try. I
try
every single time I come on stage. Raise the bar a little bit.
I don't know what you're gonna do next year.
Parachuted. Kilt. No, like seriously, like our chief marketing officer stopped me. It was like, it was great. And I said, but people forget in 2019, I think it was, I did a keynote. I came back out with a bow tie because the year before I had tossed on the T-shirt with all the tattoos hanging out. And I made a statement about the bow tie is back. That was my introduction in 2019. And people were clapping, which I thought was weird. Like, it's a bow tie, right? And I was like, my problem is that people have now wrapped up this expectation and the brand with with the bow tie. I'm like, I got to diversify. So next year I'm going to come either as a lumberjack or Batman. and I will say I was calling costume places here in Colorado, asking if anybody had like a movie grade Batman outfit. Oh, because that was option number 2 for today's keynote.
Oh my gosh!
Wow, alter ego, Batman.
I don't even know how to respond to that. I don't know what I would have done had I seen Richard come out dressed as Batman.
Well, and what would have been worse is that it would look like Dark Knight. It would have been like Christian Bale Batman, which mixed with Liam Neeson, because I'd have the goatee hanging out. Like, it'd be really, really weird. Like, because I'm not shaved. Like, it's not going to happen. Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Oh man, so look, 2020 came for us all, and coming into this year, right? I didn't expect conferences to really come back until 2022, to be honest, right? The speed at which we were able to get to the vaccines and those people vaccinated and the results like whatever. But even there, there's a real social anxiety I think everybody developed, right? From just not being around people for so long, right? I don't think any of us were truly excited about getting on a packed plane to a conference with a bunch of people. Like, you're much more aware of things now, right? After 18.5 months. But so going into like day 2 of this, right? How are you guys feeling, right? Just kind of being back at a conference.
I mean, I've been licking doorknobs this whole time, so I just feel like, hey, I mean, I just did my presentation and it was silent disco style.
Yeah.
Which threw me off. Literally threw me off. Yeah. It's like kind of odd, but I get it, right? And I guess the main point is just being back. That's the important thing. I got there, I was like, what is happening? There's like five stages. I'm like, this is gonna be a giant cluster. And then I saw the headphones, and I'm like, oh, people are thinking about this. It's a little strange, and I was telling Bird here that I was presenting, and there was this one gentleman in the front who was just looking at me like, you were foolish. It was just like, again, like for being back in front of people, I'll take it.
Right.
I'll take it, right? Just ride with it and make the most of it. It was good to be back, man. And I started at Pig. Lockdown happened, so I'm meeting people for the first time, and it's kind of, I've seen them on Zoom for about a year. Yeah. And it's like trying to translate this 2D thing into like a 3D thing, and it's still like, oh, I think I know you. Okay, maybe I do. I'm just glad to be back, man. I'm all for it. So excited.
Yeah, and I think that, David, you and I have talked about this. Like, we were road warriors, right? Like,
yeah.
And 2019 was 250,000 miles for me. It was 5 continents. It was 2 months of calendar days in Australia. Like every week, like I was out, and I was, and every week I was at some big event. And man, like I'm not built for this now. Like I am not conference fit. Like standing up for 5, 6 hours. I mean, it's obviously kind of first world kind of problems, right? But I'm exhausted, and I can definitely say like everything from RSA to Gartner to Identiverse in the past, I had a lot more volume, activity, energy, that I was exerting than we have been here, right? But yeah, I mean, my body's worn out, and it's going to take some time to rebuild those muscles. And I don't think it's going to go back to the same thing. But I will say, kind of on the silent disco thing, like I've been involved with Identiverse and kind of building up for this event. A lot of people have been, and doing a hybrid event. Like first of all, like hats off, right? There's still a lot of places you're not going to do anything to the arena. And Identiverse is willing to give it a go. But it really is an experiment, man. Like all the different variations of the stages. We're doing live casting, during European hours, and we're also, putting that material back out there, the pre-recorded stuff. Like, I think it's a really great attempt. I don't think this will be what it looks like, completely, in another year. But I can see this type of hybrid stuff happening.
Yeah. Look, I think we, Versus, kind of taught us a lot. Like, I think the whole live streaming thing and making that an aspect of how we do conferences or any kind of events, I think definitely, I don't think we're going to lose that going forward. I don't see people are going to be, there's so much that you lose in person, right? And I think people just forget that, so much communication is body language and other things like that. You just can't mimic that over Zoom, or you can't, it's hard to receive that over Zoom or something like that. So
that feedback that you get from the audience, even if they're got headphones on, right? The feedback that you get, you just can't replicate that. You can't get that, right? Unless it's live. It kind of.
It's Mike Kaiser trying to
okay.
Yeah, I saw him floating around.
Yeah.
These guys own podcasts.
Yeah. Well, it's only because I trolled his podcast earlier.
Dude, this whole circle this week is so weird, man. Like I'm on your podcast. Mike's got a podcast. He's going to be recording. I am going to record Mike on my podcast.
It feels like if we could just do one podcast and then cut the video, like splice it so it doesn't look like we're all in the same room.
Really good idea. David, it kind of, some of it kind of felt like the first day of school.
It did.
Yeah, a little bit like the first day of school, right? And just coming back and not, like, what do I wear? My shoes had dust on them. they were dusty.
Well, that's why I think if we're really going to amp up this type of format, I think that we need to start Twitch channels for the conference so that people can you subscribe and you log in, and then you can just make comments about what people are wearing. Just like
Mean Girls.
Oh yeah. Girls. That's pretty much the way it is for any video game. But yeah, Mean Girls basically, right? And then think about that, man. That'd be another revenue stream. We could have Twitch subscriptions. We could have our events coordinator was like, made mention about how I used to open up my keynotes with, hey, if you come to see Richard speak, you never know what you're going to get. It's like a NASCAR race. You're going to get the checkered flag, or you're going to watch me crash and burn. And she looked at me and she goes, we could start putting stickers on your outfit. And I was like, man, that's great. We could start getting some endorsements.
You did have a Ricky Bobby reference.
Ricky Bobby.
I don't know what to do with my hands. You got a first or your last.
Yeah, I think I could definitely see that. The live streaming, like the ability to meet right now, we've got, right? So, shout out to Heather. Yes, Heather, I would still be rolling if Richard came out as Batman. Like, that's it. I probably just would have caught a flight and gone back home. Like, all right, I can't. This is, I quit. Like, let me get mad. But the ability to get, this live stream, this interaction, then like right then, and so that way you can still offer that kind of in-person type of thing, right? Because for me, I'll be biased and say from my personal view, when I went to conferences as a attendee, the biggest thing was like going to getting to the speakers afterwards and asking those questions and really engaging, right? Because then you can just kind of have those off the cuff, conversations, dive deep into whatever you want to talk about. And so I think that will still give us a way to do that. And I mean, to the fact that I think revenue streams are going to be important because I just don't. I mean, I saw the prices that Identiverse charge, but look, it's going to be really hard to justify going back to like $3,000 and $4,000 for tickets. Like, because people are like, but I got it for free during the pandemic, and it's the same thing. So something's going to change there, right? But I could see doing, okay, look, you can have virtual passes only, right? Where, certain tracks are streamed to Twitch or blah, 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 whatever. You could have like more of the hybrid. There's ways that we can do that, right? And I do think that, we'll figure it out. There's a lot, like everything that kind of happened in 2020, it birthed a lot of areas. But the whole like live stream platform, like Arena, like saw a big jump, right? I mean, because people had to figure this out really quickly. Like I saw like a lot of new kind of contenders that I've never seen before. There's one, I always mess it up. It's not Airtable. I think it's like AirMeet or something like that or whatever. They got like a really nice interface. They do like breakout rooms and like speaker rooms and stuff like that or whatever to try and mock that. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward. But back to Aubrey, your point about first day school, definitely felt like that when I was packing. I was just like, I don't really do I want to wear this and I don't want to wear that. But then also like when you got here, like it was also that first day of school, like when you went from like 5th to 6th grade or something like that, like you hadn't seen your friends all summer, right? And so like that one, I think it's a YouTube commercial or whatever, but with the little kids and he's running going, William, he's like running to go get his friend because he hadn't seen him. Like that's how I felt when I got here. I was like, oh, damn, sir, like you just, dang, like you're just like so excited to like
the challenge to that though is like, it's this whole awkwardness around a hug, a handshake, like you like coming in and like people are like, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's going to take about 8 more years for all us to figure out. So
listen, he will remain unnamed. We all know him. At least he didn't forget to dance.
Oh wow! Wow.
A friend of ours forgot to bring pants.
Yeah. That's a COVID after.
I'm like, he had to go to the store and buy some pants.
I'm doing this like I did the same thing. I live 20 minutes from here, right? Which is great. But we're gonna have a bunch of different events tonight and stuff, so I got a room for tonight. Like I packed for like 5 days. Like, and my wife was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like,
"Pack a trunk."
I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna want to wear. And she goes,
"Yeah, you have a t-shirt and jeans."
Yeah. And I'm like, and she goes, "You were way more put together like 15 months ago. Like you had stuff like Garanimals. Like you had stuff on the rack. You know what went with what." And she goes, "You have like 8 t-shirts in your bag right now. You're going away for overnight." Like, yeah, we're gonna be a mess for a while.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just that simple. So
yeah, pretty much. So other big news, right? $500 million worth of big news, right? So Transmit Security, closes their Series A, $543 million, the largest cybersecurity Series A ever, and maybe a little shade to Transmit, but I'm just like, Transmit, really? Like, so you're the ones that break this record? That seems interesting, but thoughts?
I think I haven't had a chance to register, kind of where the market's at.
Right.
Touch base with people kind of everywhere and see where the heads are at. But I do know that the immediate first reaction was, wow, that's an enormous Series A, right? And I think that the other thing that kind of came out was like, so no need to like poke holes in transmit. They've got a good business model. They have a very heavy focus on orchestration, which I think is an incredible, market to be in right now. But what I think you've seen is an expectation for what the potential of the future market is going to look like. Right? I mean, the investors who made that decision to put that kind of money in believe that there's going to be a significant change in the uptake and purchase and development of cybersecurity. I don't think that's a dumb bet, right? I think that the question is Mick Ebeling, one of our speakers tonight. If you've never ever heard of Mick Ebeling, look up Not Impossible. That's all I got to say. It's life changing. But yeah, I think that this is shades of things to come. Yeah. And we saw it. We saw it with the $6 billion acquisition of Auth0 by Okta. We're seeing money like we've never seen before in terms of both these acquisitions and these fundings. And I don't think that that's going to slow down. I think it's going to accelerate. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was, again, no shade of transmit. Shocked. Yeah, half a yard.
Yeah.
Right? That really?
That's a crazy number.
Yeah.
That's
a crazy number.
And the person list I read was they're going to focus on passive lists, which obviously I was talking about today. And it just, far more money out there than I've really realized. And I guess people are making bets on the potential of cyber and really identity, right? And I think it's time for identity, right? Yeah. It's time for identity to sort of step out of the shade of IT security. Yeah. And maybe this is a sort of a signal that, again, it's finally getting its own light. Kind of not that it hasn't been a light on it.
No, there hasn't.
But this kind of money, right? It's unprecedented. A word that we heard a lot during the last 2020. Well, unprecedented.
Yeah, I think that we have to acknowledge the fact that the recent executive order that came out and the effects of the pandemic as it related to fraudulent account takeover, unemployment. I mean, the Treasury released the number to unemployment benefits that were stolen to like $86 billion. Like, and I keep bringing this up. Like, that was $86 billion that was meant to help people that were in need in America. That money went to organized crime, nation states, bad actors, right? Like, I keep saying, like, our national cybersecurity infrastructure is so bad that guys that were not smart enough to keep their butt out of Chino in California in prison were smart enough to figure out how to take $400 million worth of unemployment benefits out of the system. Like, they fraudulently secured $400 million. And I think that there's where the world of finance investment is going, wow, we did not realize how screwed up our national cybersecurity infrastructure is. And then you come around behind an executive order with all kinds of money attached to it. That executive order, like, it's going to be a feeding frenzy in the next year as it relates to the purchase of cybersecurity assets, because now large amounts of money are being thrown at it. And I think that you're seeing the investment market react. Like, if large amounts of money are going to get thrown at this, we're going to jump in the market.
Right. I mean, half a billion. Right? It's $86 billion. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't need to be a finance whiz.
Absolutely.
Right. To see that is going to, again, and they can do anything with that half a billion, right? I mean, that's, I'm assuming, right? There's power behind that for them to make very smart investments and scale very, very quickly, right? And I think that's part of what that money is for. So again, if you're saying, hey, if I'm going to put half a billion against $86 billion, I'm making my money back.
Oh yeah,
quick. It's a smart bet. Yeah, I'll get it back quick, right? I'll get it back quick. So
yeah, and it's also, you look at the space that they play in, right? I mean, they're heavy consumer focused, right? On making it, these. I love the marketing and just kind of the stories that they were telling, right? Built it around the user journey, right? So making it, all the things we talked about, like user centric kind of security is like, we're gonna, you're gonna design it around the user and do these things and orchestrate their journey. Oh, by the way, this is also like doing like security practices and making it cheerful, right? And so that area, like, you know, the first thing I thought when I saw it was like that's like, let me go make sure I understand what it all they do. I'm just like I was like, but do they do more than I thought they did? Like I don't, and that's not a knock to them, but it just didn't like that's a big freaking number for like where they're going. So Richard, I think to your point, it is very much they're looking at like, okay, we're looking forward and where this is going to go. If you think about what we saw for the last year, like every single organization around the world had to now figure out how do I deliver services to my business, to my users without actually having to look at them. They can't come to me. I have to somehow get to them, right? Retail stores have to figure out how to do, curbside pickup. So you had to do online ordering. I am convinced that Chick-fil-A knew about this damn thing the entire fucking time because like day 2 of the pandemic, it was already set up. Like they had things shut down, coming out, order on the app, pick up. I'm like, there's no way you were this prepared for this. Like, I'm sorry. Like I'm just, that is my only full-blown tinfoil hat conspiracy theories. I'm sorry.
20 years they've been having a pandemic response plan. They were like, boom,
Chick-fil-A, man. Like, I don't know if they've just been watching The Simpsons every day or like they just knew. I mean, it honestly, like, it was shocking how fast they responded. I really felt like the one by my house was maybe closed for 2-3 days.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it wasn't even like that they answered and struggled with it. They were just like, no, we're good. Yeah, it's just how? Like the rest of us are trying to figure out what to do. Like, but
we know some people. We know some people who had something to do with.
Well,
right? Exactly.
Basically, like, I don't know about you guys, but Chick-fil-A became like the night out at the club.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd be like, I'm going to the club. Like, I'm getting me, a Chick-fil-A, no pickle. Like, because that was pretty much all that you could do.
That was it. Like, that and comfort food. Like, me and waffle fries became, like, way too close. Right? I was like, I'm feeling a little vulnerable right now. I'm kind of scared. I'm going to get some waffle fries. Chick-fil-A, you will always be here for me.
Yeah.
Can I get some waffle fries? And number 3, please. Thank you.
My favorite is the chicken biscuit.
Oh, I'm with you.
But you know what I discovered as a result of the pandemic? You get a egg. Like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I didn't know that. Egg yolk, like white.
You haven't, so Chick-fil-A is the club. You haven't gone behind the velvet rope.
I have not.
Ordered off the menu?
I did.
Yeah,
Yes.
Like, come on, man.
I did not
Come
know.
on.
I found out.
I'm so disappointed.
Did you also know that if you don't like the hash browns, they'll make you fries? What? Just be like, I don't like the hash browns. Drop me some waffle fries. No problem, sir. Another 5 minutes. And then here's the other thing. Have you noticed how they infiltrated the entire market? Now everybody says my pleasure. That only used to be a Chick-fil-A thing. Now everybody says it. Look, Chick-fil-A's gonna go. Screw Amazon. Screw Google. Screw Walmart. It's Chick-fil-A.
I don't know, man. You got a runner in there. Because they just opened the first 2 in Colorado in the last few months. It's In-N-Out Burger. Like I drove by one. I drove by one yesterday, and there was literally a line like a half mile long. And that place opened up like 6 months ago. And I was like, I've had an In-N-Out Burger. I'm sorry. I'm not going to throw a rock at In-N-Out, but it's not all that.
As a true Californian, I can throw the rock. Because here's the thing. The reason why, and you talk to anybody from California, especially LA, we will defend In-N-Out to the death. Because the In-N-Out that, especially anybody around my age, my generation, the In-N-Out that we grew up with, there's a reason why they never expanded. Literally everything was local and everything was fresh. And they kept it that way. That's why they didn't expand for so long, because their supply chain, everything they had to be within a certain distance. Yeah. Because they would get the potatoes in that morning. They would get the beef in every 2 or 3 days or whatever. And it was literally it used to be when you wouldn't order. In-N-Out was never fast food. It was I'm going to be In-N-Out. I'll be back in 3 hours, because you're going to be in line for 45 minutes to an hour.
Would you wear a white dinner jacket?
It depends on the day. If it was the middle of the day, absolutely. Yeah. So, and then your order would usually take anywhere from 30 to 40. They would literally cook everything when you order, right? When they decided to expand and go out, all that had to change. So the quality is definitely I've had in other places. I'm okay, I see. It really is. But you got to go back. I tell anybody, if you want to really taste In-N-Out, go back. There's one close to LAX airport. That one's still pretty much
the original.
Sticks to the same, right? And then you got to go out to what we call the IE on San Bernardino, and go out to that one because that's I think there's either that was the original one, or there's another one like a little bit further out. Like you got to go back there because they still kind of keep it for the most part local. But again, just you can't expect I'm gonna go in for 30. No, it's an event.
So
Not quite a dinner jacket event, but you do plan.
So I want to ask you an LA question. So my godson, I'm just so excited for him. He's an illustrator for the LA Times, and I've spent a lot of time in California. But he's come through Denver, and he's like, hey, Uncle Richard, like I'm moving to LA. I got my place, and I'm like, cool. Like, where's your place? And he's like, I gets in, and he starts explaining it. And outside of Studio City, I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. And he told me how much he paid for rent. And I was like, wait, what? Like, and then I started talking with some friends, like the gentrification, like the real estate costs have exploded in LA. And I guess I haven't been back in a long time. Have you gone back and and seen what's happening and how it's changing?
Yeah,
or?
I have, and I got to think of a politically correct way to address this. So yeah, like the last time I really went down, I stayed downtown LA, and got an Airbnb, just kind of walked around. And I just remember, walking around thinking to myself, I was like, this isn't the place I know, because I'm walking and I see a lady in yoga pants with a Yorkie. I'm like, you would have been dead. In the LA I know, like there's no way you would have been walking by yourself.
Yeah.
Like
Little limit in the Yorkie.
Right? I'm like, and then she was coming out of Whole Foods. It's like, what? Like none of this was I was like, people don't understand. I was like, this was like parts of LA were literally a war ground. Like it was like it's like, oh, stay away from this area. It's like, no, seriously, like don't, because there were shootouts all the time. People just won't. And so it is amazing to see, especially like Inglewood, where they built a new Rams stadium, what it's done to that city. So it's amazing to see, but at the same time, sad, because all the people who lived through all of that, right? All of the riots and everything that went through there, and fighting to get those communities to be a place where it was safe to live, now don't even get to reap the benefits of it.
Yeah.
Because they've been completely priced out.
Yeah.
Right? Because Inglewood, like when they announced the stadium, the 2-bedroom houses in Inglewood started going for $700,000-$800,000 in Inglewood. Like, Inglewood, and it just, but as they finished the stadium, they started building more things out. You just saw it kind of take off. So it has really, gentrification has hit LA like fairly hard, and it's I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out.
It's everywhere, man. Like I've been traveling since I was in the military. So 1990, 91, and now with the benefit of this job, once we get back to traveling again, like I know places from what they were and what they are now. South Boston, right? Like if you were Southie, like you were hard, right? This is like Whitey Bulger's neighborhood, man. Like people, getting beat down, and Irish gangs and all that. Like Southie is like, it's all condos, it's all this. Ward 6 in Houston, Southside Chicago. Like everywhere I go now, I see cities that I don't remember, right? And it's not.
You can still find a bar fight in Southie, though.
You
can still find a bar fight.
I'm
in
gonna give a
Southie.
shout out. If I get Patrick Sheehan, I can find a bar
You
fight.
can still find
Southie.
a bar fight in Southie. Make no mistake.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up because I think the session's actually starting to start. This lady with this whatever this thing, xylophone, is like staring at me very angrily.
She is. She's giving you the
very
evil eye.
very angrily. Like she starts to hit it even harder. I'm just like, I'm doing a live podcast. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, thanks for the tones, but so look, everybody that came on the stream, we appreciate you. Let's see if I can get some questions, some shout outs real quick. Who do we have? We've got Toro. Hey man, what's going on? Thanks for hopping on the stream. Let's see. Jeff Lombardo. Yeah, it was. I don't really know what that means. It was time for the WHEO. I'm not sure what that means. But Jeff, thanks for hanging out. So for everybody that watched on the live stream, I appreciate you. For everybody that's going to listen to this on demand, it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to have to edit it because like the first 5 minutes, I totally forgot to press record. So
I noticed you wasn't.
you're going to come in to tell the story like I don't know what this is.
It's funny. David kind of just
I wasn't worried about it because I got the live stream and get that recording. I'm like, either way, I'm going to fix it.
Morgan Freeman voice. There was a conference. And the man walked out. Right,
So everybody, appreciate you guys hanging out. Richard, Aubrey, thanks for coming through.
Anytime,
Always
man.
enjoy the
Pleasure.
conversation. Everybody, you know what it is. To the next cocktail, to the next conversation. You guys stay safe out there.